Anything you want in this world, you can have it. You just have to be able to work for it. You got to be willing to give, to give. You got to be willing to sacrifice, got to be willing to work hard, and you can have it. You could be it. You could do it, you know?
Hey guys, welcome back to the Soul Sisters podcast. I'm Daniella.
I'm Alex.
And we are so excited that you are joining us again for our fun little podcast that we are really excited. We are just excited to bring a bunch of amazing women to the show and just bring a whole new spectrum of entrepreneurs and leaders and women that are just doing super cool things. And on that note, we have our guest today, the co-owner of Tomasino's Pizza,
Yum.
Liz Gegaj. She's here today and she's going to share with us about all that is leadership, entrepreneurship, mom life, balancing all of that crazy stuff. So thanks, Liz. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having me. Super excited.
I'm always so impressed as a mom myself. I'm always so impressed with moms that are balancing any sort of career, let alone an entire business. So I am so impressed.
Yes. It's a lot. I'm impressed with all the moms that are even working 9 to 5 or just staying at home or just everything in general. It's the hardest job, but obviously most rewarding.
Yeah. And
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Yeah. I know Liz through my mom, who was almost all of your kids' kindergarten teacher, Miss Romero.
Yes.
So they have the best kindergarten teacher. Yeah, legend.
She's a legend.
She's definitely an amazing woman, and I really value having her in my life. I do.
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree.
She's one of those people where I know she's exactly where she's supposed to be in terms of career.
Yeah.
She's just a phenomenal teacher, a phenomenal mom. So I'm
I
blessed.
have goosebumps because I love her. We talk about her all the time, all the moms. My daughter's in 10th grade,
Can't believe it.
that first had her, and we talk about her fondly often. And she's just the OG,
She's
just
an
the best.
OG. She is, and she's still a teacher. She's teaching first grade now
Yeah.
in public school. She used to be in private
Amazing.
school, but yeah, she's one of those women that one day we'll have her on the show.
We
But she's
should.
one of those women that
Oh,
are
you
like,
have to.
you are living out
Love
the
your
God
mom.
the
Yeah.
God-given purpose that is in you. Like
Absolutely.
she is an amazing teacher and mom and just
You have to have her on your show.
Yeah.
'Cause that would be very inspiring.
yeah.
And hilarious.
And hilarious.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I think
So
she's
funny.
so funny.
Yeah. I told her to come on here.
She's the full package.
Yeah, she is. I told her one day she should come on here and talk to us, like teach us the things that we need to, like all grown-ups need to know that we should have learned in kindergarten. Like we've talked about this a little bit, like be a good listener, like share,
Same
like
rules apply.
Yeah.
same rules apply. Like it's like we just need to remember these things as adults sometimes. But yeah,
Yes.
anyway, so that's how I know Liz, and she has an amazing pizza. Like I'm not saying this because you're on here. You guys have my favorite pizza for
you.
sure.
Thank you.
You guys are my
Appreciate that.
favorite
Thank you.
pizza. So Tomasino's, you guys have 4 locations now?
We have 4 locations now, yes.
That's so awesome.
I feel so bad because I'm like, where?
Oh, that's okay. We started out in our Colonial location. We're downtown, Colonial and Bumby. We're right next door to 2J's Deli. We've been there since we were teenagers. We opened that location in 1998, turning 99, like that week of December. So, and we then opened our location in Redbug, Winter Springs.
Okay.
It's a Winter Springs, Oviedo, Castleberry location. And then we opened Lake Mary, which is in Heathrow. It's off of International Parkway. And then we opened Lake Nona, which is obviously self-explanatory in Orlando. But we had a few locations in between, but those are the 4 that we decided to keep and flourish. And that's where we stand now as far as locations go.
Wow. So you said 20 years ago was your first location, or you said you were in your teens. So this has been a
98.
long. So this is,
Yeah,
that's way more than 20
1998.
years ago. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
The math is way off for me, but
Yeah.
wow. So, and you were with your husband at the time when you opened?
Yeah, we were dating, but we were like in a partnership, pretty much like an unspoken partnership. His sister owned Anthony's Pizza. I don't know if you guys remember, have been around long enough, or maybe you guys are too young, but Anthony's was a family-run, maybe 20 locations throughout Orlando, Apopka, Daytona, downtown Orlando. All of them were owned by her and her husband at some point,
Oh, wow.
and they were sold off, and then there was a divorce, and they decided to part ways. And we first opened Little Anthony's as kind of like a coming off of Anthony's Pizza, we were able to just have an extension of Anthony's and name it Little Anthony's. And my husband and I, we named our restaurants Tomasino's in honor of his father. It was a very close relationship with his dad, so we decided to do that. And my first son, his name is Tomas, so the name is really just, it's a family name.
Right.
It means a lot to us. So.
It's a legacy for you guys.
Yes, of course.
That's awesome.
She has 4 beautiful kids. You guys have the sweet, not only cute, wide, like looks wise,
thank you.
they're so sweet. All 4 of them are so sweet.
Oh, thank you.
They're
Well,
really
your mom
cute.
helped.
She was a little part of that, but this is definitely a
Yeah.
testament to you and your husband. You guys have such a
Aw,
sweet,
thank you.
strong family bond. That is something I wanted to
do.
kind of know how you specifically as a mom have been able to balance this amazing successful business you guys are running
Yeah.
and be a mom to 4 kids and a wife, and you're still married, and that's amazing, and like
Yeah,
all
of
these
course.
things.
Of course. I think that it starts with friendship. I know that you mentioned friendship
Yeah.
when we talked about this podcast, and it's cliche, but my husband has been my best friend since the day we met. Like we just were like, it was end game. Like when we met, we were just like, we just very comfortable because we just felt like we were going to be together, and there was no, awkward stage. We were just like, all right, let's do this. And we started working for his sister, and, we became very comfortable in the restaurant business, and we were teenagers, we were in college, and we were just like, let's open a restaurant. And we did, but we had a friendship. That was the first thing. Like we were just very close. We could trust each other, and we liked each other, liked our company. So I think that that's part of it, having, and of course I have my girlfriends and, everything that you need in your life for support. You have your mom crew, and you have your old friends and school friends. But I feel like just having my husband has been the biggest support, and, just really important to have someone that you can lean on throughout the chaotic waves of the day, and how, you wake up sometimes and don't know how you're going to get all the things done. But I don't know, I feel like you balance each other if you have a good, healthy relationship. And when you're up, he's there. And when you're down, he's there, or vice versa. And I really accredit that to him, to be honest with you, how strong I am. People always, I get a lot of accolades, like, oh, you're great. You do such a great job with your husband, and you do such a great job with the restaurants and the kids. But to be honest with you, like if I didn't have him, like, I don't even think.
I love that.
I don't. So
I love
sweet.
the
and
husband hype.
And I tell him, I get a lot of like, compliments, and he gets a lot of compliments about me. Like, you have a strong wife and she does so much. But if I didn't have him, I wouldn't even be able to do any of it. So I always remind him that he is like, the one that holds me up. So.
Yes, you guys are like each other's foundation.
Yeah, I'd always tell him, like, you don't get enough credit, like, for the man that you are. So,
that's awesome.
and so so that's super important to me. And I know it's cliche. People say their husbands are their best friends, and I have my girlfriends, and I do. I have my friends I've been, with from childhood.
Yeah.
But they're just, there's nothing like that bond. Like, it just.
I love that. I love that. We don't talk about that enough on our show. Is the best friendship of your spouse, because I know that both of us, we started in our relationship with our spouses as friends. Like we were friends with them first, and we got to know them as friends, and then it became something romantic. But I think you're so right. Having that established trust and respect, which I think is the ultimate core of any relationship, is trust and respect. And then you can build off of there, and then the love comes and the romance comes and the, all the other stuff. But you need those like trust and respect in order to
literally the foundations of friendship in order to kind of take it to the next level of romantic.
And in turn, your children are watching. That's the big thing. Your family's watching, and they're learning how to have a relationship. And there's nothing more important than relationships.
That is so key.
Yeah, so they're learning and they're watching, and even if you think they're small and they're not understanding, but they are learning, and they're picking up on your cues and picking up on how you treat each other. So that's something that's like really important to us. Like, obviously normal things happen, arguments or things can, not be so great every day, but it's really important that the kids see a normal, healthy marriage so they can mirror that. And a friendship, not even just a marriage, a relationship, like how a relationship should be.
That's so
So
important.
that's important to us.
That's important. And I think I read somewhere that like when girls learn as little girls by their dad how to be treated for when they become a wife. And, you know, if your dad treats you so well and is so sweet and is so supportive and so loving, that's what you're ultimately going to look for in a spouse. And unfortunately, there's so many women that don't have that, and vice versa. So I love that you guys are instilling this now when they're kids and as they're growing and showing them, this is what a healthy relationship should look like. And that's super important. The most important, I think.
Just be mindful of it. I mean, it's not perfect, you know, like you can't say that you don't have your days where you're like, you know, you have those days, of course, but that's in any relationship. But dealing with that and how do you recover from that and how do you treat each other and how you show respect to each other, those are like the key things that on a daily basis it's everything for us.
And I'm sure that translates over to your business and how, in terms of business-wise, how you interact with your clients, not only your customers, but also your staff and those people that are helping you run these
100%
places. So
I mean, we started as cooks and, you know, making pizza and washing dishes and all those things. So we have the utmost respect for everybody that works for us because we do it. We've done it. We've been there. You know, my husband, he's famous for washing dishes when he goes into the restaurant because he loves washing dishes. He thinks there's something like a meditation about it. And he
I'll bring him to my house then. I hate washing dishes.
Oh, he does the dishes here. But, you know, he'll walk into the restaurant and tell the dishwasher like to go on break or, you know, do something else and he'll wash dishes because he just loves that and he feels grounded in that. But so that, of course, we have a respect for all of our employees that work for us. We treat them like family. Our whole thing is a family at the restaurant. You know, when you walk in, we say, welcome to the family, and we mean it. My husband's one of 8 kids.
Wow.
So, you know, my youngest daughter is the 21st grandchild.
Oh my gosh.
So, you know, and we still have a brother that doesn't have any kids yet. So, you know, we could get to 25. Like, who knows, you know? So, you know, we have a very large family. So that helped also and, you know, helped build our business and values that we want to have in our restaurant. When you walk in, we want you to feel welcome. We want you to feel comfortable. And we want you to enjoy your time. And we kind of grew up watching families in our tables, you know, eating pizza on Friday night or just being together. And, you know, so we learned a lot from that. And that's just kind of what we've done for the past 25 years. It's working well for us. It's always worked for us. And it's the only way we know how to do it. So there's not another choice. We have to do it this way. So the product, the people, everything.
That says so much about your success, I think, is this it's not just business. You take it to heart. This is your family.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's the
key. Our vendors that we buy our food from like come to our kids' birthday parties, you know, they're like in church with our kids for their sacraments. And some of my employees that started out as 15 years old, they're some of my best friends that I could ever, you know, hope for. They're just, so it's a lot, you get to meet a lot of people and form relationships, you know, just it's what life is about. So we've been really blessed in that.
But you guys are also very, I think maybe because you guys started as cooks and dishwashers and stuff, that I feel like you guys are grounded to realize this takes a lot of work and you brings a whole nother respect level to your team. And I love that because there's so many times, you know.
You have business owners that are so detached. From you know what it is to be an employee, and then they run them ragged, and they can't understand why you know their employees leave, and it's because there's no respect for how hard they have to work at that base level. So it's really awesome that you guys are there.
And restaurant business, I mean restaurant business, there could be any given day where you just can't take your lunch break because it's just too busy. Or, you know, you're just exhausted. You know, you've spent 14 hours standing and cooking and serving, and just depending on the flow of business, it could be very busy, and you just have to skip a meal or just skip your break or your time. So it's a lot of sacrifice that goes on inside a restaurant. I mean, we hope that doesn't happen often, but just in the business of it, you know, you have it's tough. It's a really tough business. So, and you spend a lot of time around the people you are shoulder to shoulder with them, you know, working. So they form relationships and they form, you know, friendships and become family too, because they spend so much time together in a day.
Right.
So you'll see, you know, it's just, it's very relationship oriented, the restaurant business, you know, And I'm grateful for it because, to be honest with you, it's been a difficult and physical and stressful, road as well, because it's a lot that goes into it. And my husband and I team up together on all the aspects of it. But the relationships that I've gotten from it, and just the experience, what I've learned about life from the restaurant business it's priceless. So
what are some of those things that you've learned?
Yeah.
What are some of those things that you've learned?
Oh, Lord. I would say the first thing is things just don't come easy, and nowadays people just expect things to just appear. And there's a very small percentage of people that are willing to do what needs to be done to get what they want, Wow. So it's really difficult. And there's a lot of, social media, and I use this a lot for my teenage kids as talking points. I'm like, what you see is not real. Like you see all these people online, I got this, I got that. It's really like you're there, you got to have your head down, you got to be committed to what your goal is, and have a goal. My husband is I keep talking about him, but my husband's very goal oriented. So like if he puts something on the wall, we know it's going to happen. Like Wow. It's just, that's the type of person he is. So I try and explain to my kids, it's the kind of same thing that I've learned in the restaurant business. It's just like, and he's told them since they could talk, like anything you want in this world, you can have it. You just have to be able to work for it. You got to be willing to give. You got to be willing to sacrifice, you got to be willing to work hard, and you can have it. You could be it. You could do it, So it's really been inspiring, that part of it. And, I've learned that there are some people out there that are not, so great, or, situations like that. Thank God it's only been far and few, but we've learned to be careful of that. We're in the restaurant business, or, whatever, but we've also learned like how much our community has loved us and treated us so well and been there for us. And as far as churches reaching out and, caterings, and we've done weddings, we watched kids grow up and then catered their weddings. So we've learned that the community does matter so much, and we learned also, we were teenagers when we started. So we learned how to talk to people. We learned how to respect them. That's all they wanted, was to be treated with respect and loved and cared for, and listen to what's going on in their life, So I've learned so much. And I plan on having my kids come in and work for a few weeks in the restaurant business. I want them to see it. I don't want them to work forever in the restaurant business, because I know that it's very physical, and it could be, very stressful. But I do want them to work there so they can understand all of these things that we take with us, that is helped us build a foundation for our family and our lifestyle, and how we do everything is how we learned at a young age how to operate a business.
That's so true. Yeah, because we do live in an instant culture, like an instant gratification culture, like everything's quick and easy and at your fingertips. And I think, and that's something we talk about a lot here too, is this generational gap. Like we've kind of lost a lot of hardworking, like grit, like all these like things that past generations have always had, that all of a sudden, like millennials down, we're kind of like, we're like getting worse in terms of like working hard for the things that we want, expecting it's going to come easy to us. So I really love that you said that, because sometimes we think it's going to happen. We're like,
we think we can just do it like an Amazon order, we can just wish it for it to be here, and it will go. What is that, manifesting? For all you people who manifest, sorry, I do not believe in the manifesting thing. You got to go out and you got to go get it. I think it's awesome that you touched on how sacrificial being a business owner can be. Especially
absolutely.
When you have that relationship as husband and wife. Because I'm sure there were days where you had to stay behind and watch the kids, and he had to step up, and vice versa. And so how did you kind of manage that, being so exhausted? And just being, driven ragged from the restaurant business, and then having to develop your relationship as a spouse when you got home, seeing as how you guys were kind of together all the time, but not.
Well, I will say, like, at first we only had one restaurant together, so we kind of worked together, and we would have our little fights. We were young, and we would get upset at each other, and we decided we needed to open up another location. So I went to one location and he went to the other. So that helped, because we spent the days apart, and we didn't have kids at that time. So we owned restaurants for 9 years before we even got married and had kids together. Oh, wow. So we were just in a relationship. So we didn't have kids yet, but I always look back on it, and I used to say, like, you can have everything. You can have a family, you can have businesses. I don't know how, women complain. I was wrong. It's difficult. And I didn't understand it because I was so like, I was young. I thought, you think you know everything. And it became difficult. It became more and more challenging. There would be days that I would get called into work and I would have to bring one of my kids with me, and they'd be in a stroller in the back of the kitchen, and somebody was entertaining them while I was cooking or what. I've had those moments, and I've had times where I've had to, keep them in the car while I was doing a catering, right where I could see them next to me, and they're watching TV and I'm unloading food, to bring it into a business or wherever we were doing that. So they've sacrificed too in ways that they don't even know, like my time has been shared with them as well as the business. And they always understood that the business is what helps us thrive. So they've always had a huge respect for our business and what we do and our family, our family at the restaurant. And they come to my house for Thanksgiving, some of my employees, and they're not even my employees, they're my friends. So they've always had a big, understanding for that. Hurricanes, they're at the restaurant with us, working and doing whatever needed to be done. And so I kind of didn't really have to juggle it until we were married and started having kids. I could give all my time to the restaurant prior to that. And I did. I didn't want to give up any jobs to anybody. We didn't have management. We didn't have anything like that. I was very in control of every single little thing, detail oriented. And I still am, but I also have to be a part of my kid's life. And so I cannot just be there all day long doing the things I was. And I'm glad that I can take confidence in some of my employees that really have taken the step forward. And I'm still involved in daily operations and all those things. Like, it's very important to me. And we communicate, twice a day, and we're very, in touch with each other. But I'm just grateful that I have people like that in my life that I can trust and that help me out so much in my business. And I can in turn be with my kids, which is like a full-time job also. But
Totally.
It's difficult to do both. It really is. It's difficult. It could be done, but it's a lot of sacrifice involved, just like anybody that has a commitment or a job or a career, with a family, especially a big family.
Totally. What have you found for yourself, like as Liz, as a woman, as you? What have you found to keep you going and pushing forward? That's kind of like been a common thread that me and Alex have been tackling, is like we feel like we're in this new season of life where, we are stepping out. We're no longer on the defense. We want to be on the offense of our life. And we're kind of pushing ourselves to do more and reshape ourselves. So how have you, Liz, found what has been like those core things that are fueling you to keep moving forward as mom, as business owner, all the things, but also you as a person, because you're you
Right.
still.
Right, of course. I can say that I feel like I've achieved so much that I've wanted already in my life. Like I feel like just my kids, and I thank God for their health every day. And I kind of feel like very content, but I also feel like there's so much more to do and to live and to enjoy. And I look forward to those things. So I think like looking forward to new things that are going to be arising, new chapters, because I get very emotional about my family growing up and my kids growing up and relationships. It's really tough for me. Like, it makes me super emotional. So it's difficult. Birthdays, I cry, stuff like that. So that's been the new me. Like, I've been just like telling them, like, I'm not going to cry on your birthday anymore, because they look at me and I'm like, I'm going to be excited for the next year. I'm going to be excited. You're going to be 16, even though it breaks my heart, to say those words, and tears want to come out of my eyes. I'm like, the new me is, I'm going to embrace it, because I don't want to be sad. I want to be excited for what's to come. So I think just that, because I've always been like very emotional about them. So I think I've tried to just really make it more positive, a positive thing, not getting, watching them grow is bittersweet. You have kids, it's just, so I think that's been it. And, my husband, like I said, he's a very motivational person. So he's just like, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And I'm along for the ride, I love it. But I feel very content in my life. And that's been something that's been just with age, I think, getting older, I just have looked back and been like, this has been amazing.
Right.
So I couldn't ask for anything better, like I honestly couldn't. And I'm very, thankful and grateful. I think gratefulness is the key word this year in my home and in my business and in my life. And I tell people a lot, I'm like, when you feel true gratefulness in you, in your heart, in your soul, it's just a different euphoria. I mean, it's such like a high. It just is. because there's just almost nothing can touch you. You just
Yes.
feel
true.
so good and happy for everything you have and grateful, and you just know how blessed you are. So
Yes.
that's been it, and just trying to be really positive about the future and just excited for everything that's to come. And that's pretty much been the best part of this year and this new age that I'm in. And
That's awesome. Well, gratitude is so powerful. Like we've talked about gratitude on here, like as the antithesis of anger. And I think sometimes, it really does like block out so much when you have that sense of gratitude. Like, no, I'm good.
yeah.
I'm good. I actually have everything
It's
I
power.
need. When we feel
It's
like we need more and
powerful.
more and more, it's like, no. We actually
Nope.
have everything we need and we're good.
Yeah.
So that's
More than enough.
Yes, more than enough. We live in,
And
we have everything we need. And sometimes we feel like we need all
Right.
this other blah, blah, blah. But
no,
God is good, and he blesses us with exactly what we need at the right time. And
absolutely.
then when we move on to another time, we'll maybe have something else. But right now we're good.
Right. Of course.
That's
Right.
awesome.
For sure.
So, I mean, you had your husband for a lot of it, which is great because I'm totally all for like husband hype. I love my husband to death, and they never like men don't tend to get the credit that they deserve. We're always like, but he didn't clean up his hair trimmings. Why wouldn't he? I feel like they get a lot of this little. But so I really resonate with you on that. But you had your husband, but did you? Because you were so dedicated to the business and your own family, did you end up losing some friendships where there's people who just couldn't understand the amount of sacrifice and time you were putting into that, and they just kind of decided to go, their own separate way?
Yeah. Well, I would say, I moved to Florida when I was 16. So I don't have a lot of childhood friendships here because I'm from New York. So I didn't really experience that, but I did experience with more success and with more good things happening. There was more not so friendly people, or just people not happy with our success, or even family, just kind of on the bitter or jealous side. We experienced that more than anything. But the people I did business with became my friends, and more so than anything. But I would say, like, with success and becoming busier, and in your own right, you're the one creating the success because you're the one willing to do what it needs to be done to have the success. But those same people that were around us that were so-called friends became jealous or bitter or hateful because maybe they weren't having that success, or maybe they thought it came easy, or that situation. We've endured that our whole life. I mean, our whole lifetime together in our whole relationship. We've had bits and pieces of that, and we've learned how to deal with it. But it's just kind of, we're humble people. So it's like, even as a business owner, I feel like I'm a very humble person. So, material things don't get me. I'm not about that. So, that's something that we've experienced. And I would say friendships within the business, if it was an employee situation, that can go to sour, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do and we have to let them go, or a situation like that. But I'll be honest with you, when I was starting out in the business, I didn't have a whole lot of friends because I didn't have a lot of time. So I would say, I probably missed out on friendships that I could have potentially had. Our friends were going out to clubs and doing normal, stuff that 20, 21-year-olds are doing. And we were just like, flyering businesses and working in the restaurant and doing stuff that they were like, not interested in at that time. So,
you guys were hustlers. Yeah, you guys were hustlers from the get-go.
They were putting the work. So now, do you kind of creep in on them, like on their Facebook, look at where I'm at. Look at, do you flex on them a little bit, or I mean, not like, but
I think that and it's funny that you say that, because I just tell my husband, I'm like, our biggest flex is our happiness and our gratitude. We're here, like we're just so grateful for everything that's happened, good and bad, because I feel like it shaped everything that's happened to us so far.
Yeah.
So I would say my biggest flex is like my children, I'm proud of them and, what we've done. And of course, I'm proud of the success our business is. I'm so proud of everybody that works with us, our team, how we handle ourselves. And, that's really it. But to be honest with you, it's just like when gratitude hits you, it's just like, that's the biggest flex. Like if you could be grateful for it and just know it could be gone tomorrow, I think that takes a lot, because a lot of people don't understand that yet. They don't get it. And, and just being humble. Like, I love to give. I'm a generous person by nature. I've always been since I was a kid. And it's better to give than to receive. And that's just always been a big flex for me. Like, I love that. So, awesome. I like to take care of people. I'm a very nurturing person. So
that's awesome. You're better than me.
That's exciting.
Alex is like, I would have been flexing. I would have been
like, hey, I put in all that work and guess where I am now.
Well, and when you have teenagers, you have to kind of show them that online is sometimes people put the persona that they have a lot and they don't. They have a void and they want to show that they have. So it's kind of like a teaching point again. I kind of show my family, like, listen, you don't have to show, everything that you have. You have to support those people and understand what they're going through. But I got in-laws too that could be a little, salty. And I'm kind of like, you know how that goes. But at the same time, my gratefulness is just, I'm very content in my life. So it's hard to be, salty about anything.
That's awesome.
That's so great. And I think that's why God blesses you with success and more, because I've seen it. I'm going to brag on my bosses real quick, but Carlos and Carolina, they're the owners of this podcast studio, and they also are so similar to you guys in the ways that they're also very generous, and they're also very family oriented, and our staff doesn't feel like a staff. It feels like literally like just a friendship, camaraderie, family situation.
I love that.
So they also have that. So I feel like that is honestly a success tool. Or it's not even a tool, it's just who you are, and then it ultimately brings around more things, more positive things. So I think that's key for business owners to create a real sustainable model of let's keep this moving along, let's keep this growing. So
I would love to have the time to consult with business owners, to be honest with you, because I feel like if they implemented that more with their businesses, they don't even know the level of success they could have. I mean, it's just. So I would. That's like a little dream of mine, actually, to consult and just to help people to really better understand that. So, and I'm not perfect. I make my mistakes, but what I've learned, I would love to share that and help people.
Yeah, you have plenty of years valuable. Of experience, so I'm sure.
Yeah, plenty of mess ups, plenty of mistakes, plenty of great things. It's all. You've learned. It's everything.
Tons.
That's so cool.
For sure.
Well, thank you so much, Liz, for joining us and giving of your time, your precious time, and just sharing with our audience and with us all it takes to keep moving forward and also doing it with a heart of gratitude and really awesome points today. So thank you so much for bringing that to us. So
I'm so happy you guys invited me. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So people can follow Tomasino's, or how do you want people to get connected with you guys?
Yeah, they can follow Tomasino's Pizza. We're on Instagram, Facebook.
Awesome. And if you guys are local, you have to try their pizza is so good.
I feel bad that I've never gone. It's just
I'm gonna bring Alex.
I know. I have to go. But yeah, thank you for teaching us sacrifice with a heart of gratitude.
Yes, that's good.
That is something that is hard to do because it's not something that you usually do normally when you have to sacrifice.
Not natural.
Yeah.
But thank you again. And guys, thank you so much for joining us on the Soul Sisters podcast. Please subscribe, follow, all those fun things so that we can keep going and keep this bus moving.
Yeah, get to know more of these wonderful people. We love having them on and like I said, picking their brain, figuring out what it takes to not just keep friendships, but also keep relationships in general in your life. So yeah, just follow, subscribe, whatever you need.
Well, thank you guys so much, and join us again next time. Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Friends, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Soul Sisters podcast.
Our heart is to bring this encouraging content to you, and we ask that you join us by following or subscribing wherever you're listening from.
And also, share this with a friend who would enjoy it.
We love you, and we'll see you again next week for a new episode. Besitos!